This is a Anything Goes podcast production.
Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of the Journey of a Soul Sister podcast. Like I told you, some of these episodes will be audio and some of them will be visual. If you're looking for a podcast home, come holler at Digital Empath Studios. You want to be a guest or there's a topic that you want me to discuss, please go ahead and hit me up and let me know. Also, you guys, it is the new year. It's 2023. Can y'all believe it? It is 2023. So if you guys are listening right now, I hope you're in good spirits and good health. So basically, I always want people to come on and share their journey. It's very important to me for people to show them how they're getting there, what happened to them before, in the middle, and where they're trying to go. And today, I have the honor of interviewing someone that's got an amazing story, very talented, and really in touch with the community. And hello, he's from Baltimore. And with that being said, I'm going to let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Yeah, look, man, happy to be here too. A blessing. My name is BullyAnwar. That's BullyAnwar. Right on Instagram, you can follow me too at BullyAnwar1. BullyAnwar1 because I can't be the two. Bully, it stands for Before Uses Luxuries, Love Yourself. Anwar, that's my name.
Okay.
Name's Elimination. So.
So you was really thoughtful when you was thinking of these names. What made you just want to think of all that and put it together?
So Bully came from my guy E. Foster, started the Bully movement. And I actually was incarcerated, and when I came home, my cousin and him are friends. So when I came home, he brought me in the studio, first time I ever recorded, and since then we was locked in. And as far as Anwar, that's my actual name. My mother was into Islam.
Okay.
So my name is Arabic. I'm named after Anwar Sadat, who was the president of Egypt.
So Kemet. Okay, I get it. See, so from the beginning, you were already destined. Would you say that?
Yes.
When did you tap in and knew you was destined?
I always knew I was destined for greatness since I was young because my thought process was not regular to me. I wouldn't look at things how everybody else looked at them. Some things, and I would always speak out against it like, man, no, that don't make sense.
It don't make sense.
That don't
yeah, I had that problem too.
Yeah.
So I hit it in the beginning that you're from Baltimore. Would you like to tell people what part of town you're from or how you represent, or you just represent the whole Baltimore in entirety?
I'm representing the whole Baltimore entirety, but if I had to, I started over a White Lock Murder Mall, young age. Then I moved to down the hill, which they, up the hill, whatever, chasing Kenwood. And then I went to Zone 18. Zone 18 is my family. Like, that's where I resonate with the most, I would say. So shout out Zone 18.
Y'all heard him. Okay, so you would say your mother, she studied Islam.
Yes.
Was that also passed down in your family? Were you guys brought up in the faith or?
No, we weren't. My mother just as a seeker of knowledge. That's what I learned as I got older. My mother was always a seeker of knowledge. So my mother had us with the Sunni. She had us at the Nation of Islam. Then she had us at Moorish Science Temple. I remember my mother spatted with the Jehovah's Witness. I seen all this, coming up. Now my mother is a pastor at a Baptist church. So, my grandmother Catholic. So religion was always a big thing. But like I said, my mother was just wanted to get knowledge, and until her doing that, I learned a lot from all of it.
Would you say you learning all that helped shape who you are today?
Yes. It did. I'm not religious. So my mother is a pastor, but me and her we don't really get into it because our views are not the same. And, growing up and being able to see all those different religions, I was able to make my own decision and say, this is not really what I don't align with their views. I don't believe in certain things or carry it a certain way. What I do believe is that you should be a great person and treat people as you want to be treated. And, as a creator, there is a creator, and do what you do. Like, you don't want other people to treat you bad, don't treat them bad, and just be the best person you can be. I'm spiritual. I believe in the energy and, The religion thing, not too much.
It's okay. Trust me. I'm the same exact way. So when did you realize that you weren't into religion? You became spiritual.
Um, I would say I learned fairly early. I'm terrible at ages, but
You don't have to give an age. You
I
can
don't
say it wrong.
I don't remember exact age when I remember when I changed, but I know it didn't take long for me to see inconsistencies and contradiction and
And different
certain things
things.
people they said. I actually just spoke on this just talking earlier casual that I seen that people would be like there for God and they love God and this, but they would be the same people that would talk about Sister Ann on a choir or deaconess he beefing with the deaconess beefing with the deacon. Like I seen all that and I'm like, this can't be or a Christian or I'm at Catholic church and they're telling me, no, look, the Baptists don't know what they talking about. You need to listen, follow the Catholic or Islam. I'm surrounded by a lot of Muslims. They saying, the Christians don't know what they talking about. This is the way. So when I seen all that and I'm like, this is not for me. It's nobody together. It's too much people divided. That's not what I'm about.
I agree. I 100% agree with that. So do you use any of your spiritual meanings into your music
All the time.
all the time?
Every time, man, basically all my songs is something I'm saying in there that's spiritual. And, just being able to talk, I feel like even talking about pain, that's different vibrations and stuff. But I feel like all of the vibrations sometimes are needed in your life. Whether it's low vibration, high vibration, nobody ever moves at high vibration all the time. It's gonna change. And I feel like that's needed. Because if you was always hot, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You may not know how to deal with it when it's somebody that's low vibe. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, no. So spiritual stuff is always in all my music.
Okay, so I have a question. You say you referenced to pain, right? And you said in some of your music. Let's get to the pain part.
Yeah.
What was one of the most painful moments in your life that you had to deal with, that you had to go through by yourself?
By myself?
Because everybody's pain is different. It may be similar in some ways, and then you may have someone there to help you out. But what's one of those most painful moments that you had to face on your own?
On my own? I mean, I guess it would be the death of my father. I felt like I was on my own with that, because I found out my mother lied about how he passed. My father was on drugs, but he actually died from HIV.
Okay.
You know what I mean? My mother was blessed to not get it. And, it was a big situation. And I also found out my father was a homosexual. You feel me? And that really, you know what I mean?
Really hurt you.
That did a lot because I didn't understand it. Obviously, I was a kid, so,
How old were you?
When I found out that he was a homosexual, my godfather was actually the person that he messed with, and I didn't even know until I got older. My godfather, Italian, treated me great, never did nothing, great person, whatever. I had a great life. That's when it goes into me going in the hood and then going on trips to West Virginia in limos and going skiing in the mountains and stuff like that. So when I found that out, it was definitely like a big thing,
So did you feel betrayed?
I did. And I resented my mother for that as a child for a long time. Like,
So how did you deal with that pain? When you said you resented her, you felt betrayed, you didn't understand everything. How did you deal with it? What path did that pain set you on?
A path of lashing out, not listening and, just mad, anger. I was really angry. I was getting in trouble. I was doing this. I wasn't listening. Like I said, I always got good grades, but, growing up in that environment and then dealing with all those things, it's a lot for a child. And then I had two younger brothers, and I was like the oldest, so I would take care of them. And it was just a lot of me I was mad because I had to do that,
You had to do that.
Everything was anger.
So it was a lot of anger, a lot of responsibilities just put on your shoulder before you were ready. Do you think that's more some of the reason why a lot of our young black men here lash out?
I do. I feel like it is a lot of responsibility, especially men.
Okay, explain.
So from the beginning, right, men are taught that we are not supposed to cry. When it's crying, stop that crying. You're a boy, right? It's watch your sisters, watch your brother. Responsibility is put on us from the beginning as a child. Especially, you know, I can speak for myself. It was me and my two brothers, and my mother always made it clear that you make sure your brother's good. If you don't got nobody, y'all got each other. And it's crazy because it's like, damn, but we got you. But it's like, no, she let us know, which benefited me, you know, too. But it's like, as a child, that's a lot. It's like, dang, so I got to take care of all us three. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a lot. So I believe, yeah, a lot of boys feel the same way. I would believe so. I've seen it.
And you would think they would just go and just lash out. And I can agree with you with that, as far as saying a lot of responsibility, because I come from a home where I had a lot of similarities, where I raised my younger siblings and my older sister. You would think that it would have fell on her, but she had got the easiest scapegoat out, if that makes sense, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I get what you're saying. You felt angry, worldly pressures. You started lashing out. But let's tap a little bit back in. You say you was able to still get good experiences. So I want to know, where did that divide happen to where, as though if you were going somewhere on the weekends having a great time, but then you come back to the hood?
Yeah.
How did that coincide? Like, how did that even make sense?
Well, number one, it didn't make sense. It was like crazy because I would be in the hood, all right, and then my godfather would come. He lived over in Old Northwood. You know, Old Northwood, where the big houses.
Yeah.
I had a jacuzzi and a pool in the backyard. You know what I mean? Grew up with a dog that was the dog off of Turner and Hooch, a French Mastiff. Dog costs money. Like, so then I'm coming. People didn't know what kind of dog that was. I wrote, when we come in the hood and they look and see that dog, they're like, man, what is a pit? No, that's a French Mastiff. You know what I mean? They don't know what that is. So me going out and doing that, I'm like, dang, I like this life, you know, to come back to the hood every time. It's like, damn, I'm back here again. These people, I got to fight, he didn't talk to my brother or mess with my brother, or this person then did this or said something. You know, you got to carry it a certain way. But when I'm in them environments, and I'm talking about this with, you know, Caucasian people, right? I'm like, I'm getting the most love. That's why I'm not, my girlfriend is, you know, Caucasian. I don't really see colors, but that's because I grew up different. I have had black people do a lot of stuff to me. Not to say, you know, our past and what it was done, you know, that nothing can take that away. But I done been locked up by police. I done had black police officers lift me by the cuffs off the ground where I can't feel my wrist for months. You know what I mean? I done had the white ones let me go. So what I learned is, it ain't the color, it's the people. I don't care what nobody say, you know. I don't take away what people done did to us, and that's what it is. But, you know, that taught me that as well, having a white godfather or whatever. You know, it showed me the best times in my life, you know, while I was young. Like, I had everything I wanted. Showed me hard work, you know, and then the hood just showed me how to
survive,
take a beating.
So you say take a beating physically, or you mean mentally?
Both.
Okay, so elaborate.
All right, so it's funny because, I'm speaking of my grandfather, right? My grandfather, he never beat me. And he always told us that when you beat a child, you teach a child how to take a beating, you know? And the hood was like that. The hood would beat you, right? So it's to the point where you get beat so much, you're not ready to keep taking that, so you learn, or you just get numb to getting beat. That's how bullies, you know, people get bullied and then they just regular. It's regular. You see people taking advantage of them. And mentally, oh man, it's so much that happened in the hood that's mentally beating you. Is coming from every angle, whether it's the school, whether it's the kids when you get out of school, whether it's the teachers. You know, I have teachers that bully you.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. You know, and like I said, I went to Catholic school. You know, I was surrounded by nuns. So it was serious. You know, the nuns ain't play games. But it was like, all of that was mental. Even going to the Oblate Sisters of Providence and laying in the boat that they drew to show how the slaves were, you know, in the boat.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, but we kids, and it's a lot. Because it's like, dang, this how it was.
That's exactly
you know?
what it was.
Then you come back, and then you got your friend. He in the back smoking a cigarette, and then now you smoking, and you know, it was always influence. Everywhere you turn around, influence. Whether it be older women, you know what I mean? I was always surrounded by older women, and it's just influence. So it mentally definitely took a lot out of me. To my mother leaving, And then women, you know, she leaving me with the next door neighbor kids to watch me, but they not my age, they're a little older, but they showing me stuff and don't, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, that I ain't know what that was, you know, until I got older, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, that was a lot. I've been through some stuff.
Yeah.
When
I
you
see
going
it.
through it, you
When
don't
you going
know.
through it. And that's why it's so important for other people to speak about their past, right? Because you can come here and say, hey, I got this going on, I got that going on, and people see almost the finished product. Because I never say we completely finish until we transcend somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So it's always to the point where you have to start, okay, what happened? Let me explain. Then we come to the present, and during that middle, and then we speak for the future. Because
Yeah.
if other people don't see what happened to you, they could never fully respect you, number one. Or number two, they think they know you and they don't.
Yeah.
Or they feel as though someone else out there that could have the same story that you're sitting here saying that's similar, and they don't think that they can make it. So if they hear
Right.
you and they see what's going on, yes, I was lied to. This
Yeah.
happened to me. I had resentment. I had so much influence on my life that took me down different paths. If I was with this group of people, why did these group of people treat me so good and was able to have all of this? And then I turn around and go to another group of people, my own people at
Yeah.
that. And that's something that we struggle with today, still
Yep.
to the day as adults,
Yes.
with our own people. It's like, okay, how do I fix it? How do I make it? And that's why I asked you, was it your beating more mentally or was it physically? And you said both.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you had all of that going on and you said you had resentment. When did you realize you had a problem?
I realized I had a problem. I'm going to say it took for me to realize I had a problem when I got older and became a man.
And
It didn't.
when did you think you
When I
became
became
a man? You know, because it's different from different people. They'll say,
yeah,
I
it
became a
is.
man at 17. I'd be like, no way.
I became a man. How was my daughter? My daughter's 11.
Aw.
So, I don't know, I'm going to say 21 maybe.
Okay.
21, I felt like I became, and it's funny, that's like the age that you become a man. But in my life, that's around the age that, you know, I was still doing stuff, but then I start realizing I never changed it. I didn't change it at 21, but I knew
But you knew
I had a problem. You know, whether it was anger and lashing out and, you know, even getting into it with my family or people on the street, whatever it was. And I knew, I said, man, yeah, man, I done been through a lot, you know, because we always demean it because you're a man. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to look at it like that. It's regular. We go through. And I don't regret the things that I've been through because I wouldn't be who I am today.
That makes
But
sense.
I do acknowledge that, yeah, I've been through some stuff, you know?
So the first part of any type of healing journey is accept that you have a problem,
Yes.
right? Because people all day long be like, I ain't got no problem.
Yes.
It is what it is. It's just who I am. I don't know what you're talking about. So that was very good for you early on at 21. From my opinion, with dealing with different males and raising sons and being around men, I don't think that y'all really tap into your manhood fully until like 30 something. And then it also depends on what you are surrounded to. So when you said, okay, influence,
Yeah.
that's also another thing. Cause I know some 40-year-olds who act like they're 21
Of course.
and just don't get the
Yeah.
picture. So, and then I also think that has something to do with trauma,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I'm a woman who done been through some things and witnessed some things. So that's what I just see. So for you in dealing with it and realize you had a problem, you say you went to jail.
Yeah.
How old was you when you first got incarcerated?
I was in and out of jail like at juvenile. That's probably the most time I went to jail was juvenile. I kept getting in trouble. I never did a long stint in jail. I was in it. The most I was in jail was maybe 3-4 months. And that was enough. And, you know, it ain't, I love women. That's number one. When I knew it was no women, I said I can't be in here. There's no women in here. I'm not these guys, man. But jail, man, jail will definitely, because it's rules and regulations in jail, and you gotta abide by it. And it's like it's no way around it. You know, maybe on the streets you may have a chance because you can get away from it, you can move, whatever. In jail, you there. You ain't no getting out of this. You know, once you there, you there. So jail taught me, you know what's funny? When I went to jail, right, I had already had in my mind before I went to jail that when I come here, nobody gonna dictate me. That was my mind. I set myself up and said, nobody's gonna dictate me. So I I'm gonna be the opposition every time. Like anytime they try to say something, I'm a no, I ain't doing that. I swear I went into it thinking that with that mindset, right? So when I went in there and I was locked up and I went to tear, whatever, and then I ran across this one tear and I was with a couple of different people and they was helping me. They all came together. They was like all talking to me, helping me, like really helping me. And I never get, man, R.I.P. I don't remember his name, man. He died. He died right after I got out of jail. He died in there, not just from health, I think, and they had to fly him out. But I never forget, he told me, like, man, how you thought it was gonna be? And I was like, I ain't think it was gonna be like this. You feel me? I also seen a guy, when I first went in there, we were like rapping on the tier, and me and him rapping. So the guys want us rap together, and this how guys are. They try to make it where it's a competition or whatever. So
Always.
you know, they, oh yeah, yo, he better than you. So I walk off. One day I come to the table, I see yo like he like looking down, like scared or whatever. So I asked him what's wrong. He like, I'm scared. I tell my man like, yo, stop talking to yo. I stopped talking to him. But when I got I'm looking back, like they had found out he was in a gang or blood or whatever, and he was scared, you know. I was never scared of nothing. You know, I was willing to deal with whatever came, but it was like, dang, man, this whole environment will force you to, you know, either fold or be a man in it. And I'm going to say this, because I was watching something I seen where it said jail, they believe that you should have jail in your life because it makes a man out of you. I guess in absence of fathers, if that sounds crazy when I'm saying it, but, you know, jail definitely taught me some morals and principles as well. You know, and the small time I was in there, I learned some different things. I had a guy tell me while I was there, he said, shorty, this not for you. And in my mind, I'm like, what you mean? I'm thinking he trying to play with me like, oh, you ain't cut out for this, you ain't built for this. That's what I'm thinking. He said, no, that's not why I'm saying that. He said, I did this for you. He said, and just by talking to you, I can see this not the place that you should be. Because you supposed to be doing something bigger. When he broke it down, then I'm like, damn. You know, that makes sense. That makes sense. Everybody knew I was great at music, even in jail. Yeah, from the jail to the streets.
At the end of the day, you knew it, right? So we have the power in our mind, and just being human beings, period. We can control anything. We can make anything manifest. Anything that we want, we can have it. We just got to put in the work for it. He said this wasn't for you. So you say you've been in and out since you were juvenile because you was hurt.
Yeah.
You had a lot of resentment. You were trying to figure out things on your own. You say 21 that you became a man. Well, you knew you had a problem.
Yeah, I knew I had a problem.
When did you start working on that problem? It's one thing thing to admit it, but when did you start working on it? And before then, before you say that, when you were going through this problem, how was you coping with it?
Yeah, that's what I was ready to say.
Let's go.
So at 21, I realized I had the problem, but instead of fixing the problem, I turned to drugs.
Okay.
I turned to drugs.
What kind of
drinking,
drugs?
E-pill, all drugs. Only thing I didn't do was sniff coke and shoot dope, but I sniffed. I pop E-pills, perks. Yeah, all like pills. I drank lean. I smoked a bunch of weed.
So would you say that it numbed your pain? Like you didn't have to deal?
At the time, I thought it numbed it, but it really just obviously, as I got older, I realized it was just masking it, you know, and making me feel like I'm not going through that, but I still was, because it was just like, you know, putting my mind in a dull
state.
I call it the dumb phase when you don't know nothing. But yeah, I wasn't helping myself at all. I was killing myself.
So you was just killing yourself and hurting yourself. So you would say that's kind of like suicide, right?
Yes, insanity.
Yes. Have you ever had any of those type of feelings?
Suicide? Yes. I tried to do that before. I took like a whole thing, like a halotramidals. I used to mix drugs. I used to take lean with perks, E-pills, and Xanax, all at the same time.
All the bars.
You know, and I'm like,
and no one around you felt like, hey, yo, what are you doing? Or you was just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, or were people doing the same thing that was around you?
I didn't listen. You know, my mother and all them, they always would see. They didn't know exactly what I was doing, but they knew something ain't look right. You know, maybe I didn't look right or whatever. And they were like, hey, my grandmother, hey, well, you need to stop whatever you doing. And I was never a person. That's why I don't understand why people do. I never hid stuff. I'm not the person that, you got that people that hide it and get ashamed. I'll be right out with it. If I'm going to do drugs, I'm going to do drugs. That was me. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I don't care what nobody's saying. Yeah, I'm doing them and I'm going to do it. And that's how I always was. It definitely didn't help my situation. I didn't see that until I got older. And as far as you saying, when did I, make the change? I'm still making the change now.
I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would say that because sometimes people think just because you stop one thing that every day isn't a constant battle.
Yes, I'm still fighting the battle now.
And you still fight that battle every single day. And I just want to say thank you for not giving up. Thank you for keep pushing and making yourself be the best version of yourself because you want better and like you want to help others.
Yes.
What advice would you give people who are going through this same issue? Because I speak about it sometimes, but it's good when you hear men talk about it because a lot of men don't just say, hey, yeah, I was in that dark space because of this and I was trying to kill myself. I was trying to end it all because of the pressures, because of what was going on in my resentment in society. So what would you say to another brother or a sister, whoever? What would you say?
I'm gonna start with men, for men, right?
Okay.
Being a man is being able to say what you don't, what people don't expect you to say. It's saying the truth. Like, a lot of times we're taught to not say it because we're men, but really a man can say what they want. That's the true man. You should be able to say what you want. I don't care what it is. I'm going to say that and I'm going to stand on that and I'm not going to care if nobody judge me. You know what I mean? So all I would say is, open up. If that makes sense, open up. I'm not saying you got to be emotional, but it's okay to speak on it because it's going to make you a better person. Even if you open up to yourself.
Tap into that.
Jesus.
Tap into that.
I ain't always say I had to open up to people. You got to open up to
yourself.
Be true to yourself. Because a lot of times, a lot of problems come because you're lying to yourself. How you going to lie to yourself? It's you. You know you. So I'm like, once I figured that out, I said, man, you can't bullshit. Excuse my language. You can't bullshit a bullshitter,
Exactly.
And only person you bullshit
is yourself.
It's yourself.
Yep.
That's one thing my grandfather said about me. He said, one thing about you, Anwar, you ain't gonna make no excuses what you doing. You gonna just do it. And I always was like, dang, he right, because I ain't, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And I feel like it made me better. And like I said, yes, I'm still working. As far as women, or people in general, I'm gonna say people in general, men and women, right? Women, as far as their pain, I feel like it just has to be more communication, especially between men and women, men and men, women and women. A lot of times it's the lack of communication why people be getting into all the stuff that we get into. I have been in a lot of situations where at the end I realized, oh man, we'd have just talked about it and learn how to talk. Because it's one thing to talk, but if you yelling, that's not, I'm talking about communicating it. And if you really communicate it, you can usually come to a common ground. And then we got to learn how to agree to disagree. It's okay to not agree. You know what I mean? I learned that because as men, we always be like, oh, yo, I done had my older cousins, man. Free my cousin. He will not let you be, he don't care what he going to make you believe, or he want to make you believe what he believe. But I always been the same. I'm not going to go with what you say. You got to do that to me.
Yeah.
So once I learned that, it's okay for men to agree to disagree. Everybody's views are not going to be the same. It's okay. And I feel like through that, communication is key.
So you hit it on something that's so funny to me because you said, I'm going to say I'm not going to agree with you. And when most people who don't, like myself, don't agree with the masses, it gets you into a lot of different situations.
Yes.
Right? How do you handle those situations? I know you walk away from some and some you don't, but then that also messes up some business deals, messes up some personal relationships, which also does have an effect. So how do you handle that when that happens? And let people know it's okay to be that person that just be like, listen, it ain't for me.
It ain't for me. I'm going to say back then, it'd have been a problem, and it maybe ended physical or a big argument and all that. Now, being that I'm grown up and into who I am, it's not worth it. And if it is something that I believe truly, obviously I stand on morals and principles, so no money is worth me jeopardizing that.
Fact.
No relationships is worth me jeopardizing that. I'm willing to leave whatever it takes to keep me Right. Because I believe, man, it's crazy. I'm gonna say this to you
It's
on
me.
camera, right?
You got it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this on
the
camera
journey of
because,
the soul sister.
and this might rattle you a little bit, right? Let's
Oh,
see.
trust me.
All right, so growing up is always what? Put your kids first, right? We was taught that when women always tell me, no, you gotta put your kids before you. I don't believe that, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. So my grandfather always used to tell me, he like, how you gonna put your kids first? He say, if you don't put you first, nobody is good. So my baby, my children's mother never understood, like, well, you need to put the kid. I'm gonna put them after me because if I'm good, they good. And a lot of people I done heard that say, no, I don't agree with that. And I had a couple people that say they do, but me, that's what I believe in. And since I believe in that, that's why I'm doing this and putting all this work in now, because my kid's gonna be good and everybody around me will be good.
So let me let you know you did not rattle me at all. And the reason being because I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, like telling him, like, I used to be a mom's mom, if that makes sense. And when I say a mom's mom, that's all I knew. It's how to be a mom, let's be honest. Like, I did little stuff or whatever. All I know is to be a mom and be someone's wife. That was that, and to survive. Basically.
Yeah.
We get to the street stuff, it's a different story, a different me. However, once I started working on self, right? You start loving self. You wondering why you depressed. You wondering why you're not happy. You wondering why you angry all the time. You wonder why you a bitter bitch. I'm going to keep it 100 with you, right?
Yeah.
It's because I wasn't working on me.
Of course.
I put everybody before me. So when I got about 33, that's when I had got that change life thing. It was all about me. Selfish.
Yes.
Selfish.
Yes.
My kids going to be good. I tell them that, listen, check this out. So you ain't rattled me at all, but people haven't tapped into that. And when you're programmed to believe,
a lot of people have
all that bull crap that the kids come first, ain't no way. I cannot give them my last. You ever been on like the airplane and they say like the mask, they be like, fix your oxygen mask first.
Yeah.
You're traveling with a small kid and then help the child. So if I put the mask on my child, I pass out. In the process, how I'm gonna help my kid, right?
I heard that analogy before too, and that's funny.
So
that's a great one. So it makes sense. Like,
it makes sense.
No, you gotta put yourself first. And I seen it. So once I started doing it, I seen the change in my life, and everybody around me becomes better.
Exactly.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
Even your kids appreciate it. At first, from other people on the outside looking in who haven't tapped in, of course they're gonna shame you. They're gonna walk you. They're gonna say whatever.
Yep.
Don't even worry about that. And this goes for everybody at home, anyone that's listening. Do not worry about what others say. What works for you in your household works for you in your household. And that's what I keep telling people. My oldest son says to me now, I just saw him the other day, he said, "Ma, I'm so proud of you." He said, "You are so you're happy." He said, and I haven't seen, my son about to be 20. He said, I ain't never seen you this happy in years.
A blessing.
Come on now.
A blessing.
I ain't never seen you this happy in years. He said, you went back to school, because I did go back to school for him. I ain't gonna lie. When I went back to school for him, because I was like, how am I tell him go to college and I ain't finished? Let me think if I tell the school. That was my thing.
Yeah.
Then he said, now I see you tap into the arts and you're sitting up here podcasting, you helping other people. He was like, Ma, you in the community, you're happy. He said, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it.
Yes.
Just keep doing it.
That's a blessing.
So I'm saying to you, like, just keep doing it, because you're going to make it. So far as your artistry goes, right? So you say everybody knew you was good at rapping. Everybody knew that you was good at music.
They did.
They all knew.
They do.
And they do. I'm sorry, y'all know. Now, okay, we talking present. What would you feel as though your biggest struggle is when it comes to that?
Comes to music?
Yes.
I don't have any struggle.
Not one struggle.
No. I'm open in my music.
Okay. Not even as far as being from Baltimore and getting people to believe in you and your vision here.
Oh, you mean, okay.
Struggle, period.
Yeah,
It's a struggle.
Oh,
come on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
whole struggle everywhere in your
right.
music.
All right, so yeah,
Not
I thought you meant
it.
creating.
No, creating it, you
That's the
got
easy
it.
part.
You
I
already
got it.
tapped
Yeah.
in it. You told
Yeah.
everybody, look, everybody already knew I was good.
Yeah, I got that part. All right, so as far as that, yes. It's a big struggle, you know, with that. And I'm oh man, it's a big struggle because when you don't have the backing, maybe I'm gonna say the investors or the investors that do want to invest into you, they not the people you want to invest into you.
Oh, say that again.
You know what I mean? And man, listen, I told my uncle this. My uncle was a multi-millionaire, and but he doesn't know the music business. So he not really, that's not his thing, and I respect and I understand it. You know, you can't make or expect people to do something that they don't want to do. You know, so but I don't want the other people to invest into me, you know, street guys or whatever, because nobody can have that foot on my neck. It's not happening. And I die, so the whole thing will be over. So instead of me doing that, you know, it's hard to figure out which way to go. And then you got these people telling you this way. You got people that haven't made it to the levels that you aspire to make it to, telling you, you know, do it like this, you know, and I'm like, and they're like, well, I've been doing it. You know, it's everybody pulling, trying to tell you how to do something. And it's like, it's a battle because you got to learn how to take heed, but also learn that this is your journey and you got to make your own decision.
Again, it is your journey.
Yeah, it's your journey. How can somebody tell you how to live your life? And you know, they can give you information on how situations went in their life, and I take heed. But at the end of the day, and even if I do fall and bump my head, I want that to be my choice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's a real struggle, man. Like, I feel like it's so many different outlets to them. Is this part, you know, being on these things. I wasn't used to any of this. It's not just about talent.
It sure ain't.
It's 90% business and 10% talent.
Wait, just one more time. Repeat that last thing, because I keep trying to tell people, and this has happened in previous things in my life. First of all, you can have all the talent in the world, but you ain't business smart, or you don't understand how to business, or willing to learn. What they gonna do to you?
Oh man, they gonna take everything from you.
They gonna take it from
my mother knows I'm intelligent and is scared for me. She always, as I told you from the beginning, she's a seeker of knowledge. So all she do is watch all the old groups and the old thing and the news. She be like, well, this how they took advantage of them. I don't want, you know, this is how they took advantage of them. Or you got your publishing, you own your publishing. Did you do this? Do you do? And I be like, Mom, just chill. I'm intelligent. I got it. But and all right, she's right to be on me like that, because you don't know, you know, if anybody can do that regardless. Even when you're intelligent, man, they word stuff different ways and contracts that you would never know that this word means this.
And
that's
they throw
crazy,
in front of you that money, and our people are so hungry to get on.
Man, listen.
You don't listen.
90% business, 10% talent. So that means that you need to be doing your homework. You know,
Before
me. That's what I told myself. I said, man, I gotta get a lawyer. Number one, I have an entertainment lawyer in Atlanta. So have a lawyer and even do your homework on that lawyer. Have a lawyer for your lawyer, and you lawyer both of them. Like, it's real. You gotta, your accountant may be accountant, but check your books. Because people that had accountant and they was still stealing their money because they was making so much money, they never looked. They ain't even realize it. You hear that all the time. So it's like, you got to do your homework, man. You got, if you want to be in any industry, not even just music, any business, entrepreneurship, be somebody that's going to research and learn. You got to. If you, because other than that, you might as well be a worker. You have to be a 9 to 5, because then you don't got to worry about that. Somebody going to tell you when you get paid, you know. But if you want to be big time, like everybody say they want to be, it takes a lot of work. You got to be willing to put that work in. And I wasn't. I had to make that decision to say, it's time. I'm ready to put the work in. Yeah.
Ready to put that work in.
Yeah, I'm ready to put the work in.
Anything that we have, we got to work for. Anything that you want, anything you want to achieve, you got to work for. And the fact that you dropping jewels, like, people don't really realize, they don't want to share the game with you if you think about that. Like, hey, listen, this is the way you should just go get a lawyer, get this one, give you positive things. They always want to say, man, don't worry about that. You can work that at the end of the day, or skip through those type of things. So I'm glad that you know that now.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you're willing to tell everyone that. But also, I heard you say entertainment and lawyer. So for those who weren't listening, because I don't think we tapped on that yet, that you live in Atlanta?
Yes, I live in Atlanta now. I've been living there the last 6 months. I was always taught to take a risk, and I just left. Like, I didn't tell nobody. I just made a decision. I actually started a landscaping business, right? And I was doing good. I would have had a lot of clients right now, but something, my spirit just told me, like, it's time to go. You got to get out of here.
Go. You got to listen. Oh,
You got to get out of here. Atlanta, great.
So what's the difference between Atlanta and Baltimore?
Southern hospitality is real. It's Southern hospitality there, hospitality, and there's none here. Southern, and there's none here. I feel like you may run across some people, but the majority of people that I come across, they don't want to give you the information. If they do, they want to sell it to you.
So what about the music part aspect of it? How do people support you there versus supporting you here?
They recognize talented people from the initial. Instead of here, it takes for you to, it's harder here. You got to put the work in. They got to see the change. They got to see the lights. They got to see you doing all that. Then they like,
make them a believer.
You got to make, which I'm not going to say is necessarily bad when you think about it, but at the same time, it's like, dang, I got to do all this for y'all to love me. You know, when I've been great from the beginning.
That is true. I always say Baltimore's clicky. Are we all in our own little cliques and all in our own little things?
Yes.
People always feel like they in competition. To me, I always tell people I ain't in competition with nobody. I'm in my own lane. I do my own thing. I create my own stuff.
I agree with that, right?
That's me.
But when it comes into music, right? Because I went viral on Murder Inc. I had 130,000 views, right? Music started with competition. That's where music started. I'm an artist first. Now, as people, yes, we all, you know, we are ourselves and we are great in our own right. But as music, it started friendly competition. It doesn't have to be negative, but when you on a song, you want to do great. You want to be, oh, yeah, I killed this song. So in the end of the day, it is a competition in music, you know. Other than that, outside of music and the artistry, yes, we should kind of gather and everybody's great.
But that's what me and you going to agree to disagree. Because as far as competition, you saying music-wise, you should be great every time you get on the mic. It don't matter who coming before, who coming after. As long as you feel good at what you've done and what you laid down, everything else don't matter.
When I rap, I'm rapping to win. I'm keeping it 1,000. Like when you see two people freestyle,
but you should. That should be your energy every time.
Yeah, but everybody don't have that energy
because they self-doubt themselves because they look at the competition. They start to psych themselves out sometimes.
People was mad at me because I said, "Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Drake, I'm coming." And they like, how can he say that? He not. Why can't I?
Why can't I?
Why can't I? Because it's Drake. I don't care. I don't care about who. Respect to that man. You know, I would love to work with him. You know, shout out Drake. We gonna work. But no, I'm great. And people it's funny. They don't even understand that Drake and them will look at it like, no, he got it.
He got it.
He on our level. He's even speaking like he's on our level. He knows what he has. So it shows confidence. Anybody that look at it like, no, he shouldn't go at Lil Baby or NBA Youngboy. Why? Why wouldn't you feel like you're the same caliber as them or just as good? No, it never made sense to me. It never will, you know? But I also learned you can only change yourself. You can't change people.
Can't change people. Ooh.
They have to change themselves. So I'm big on setting examples now. So I'm going to set the example. So all y'all that talked about me on Murder Inc., listen, I'm going up and you're going to see me. Now, when you see me with Drake, you see me with Lil Baby, and y'all be like, dang, I remember he said he was better than them. Now I'm on the song with him. Remember
what you said.
Yeah, remember what you said. Keep that same energy.
That's how I feel sometimes. But like you said, people got to see it first and then they love you.
Yes.
You got to convince people. It's just that simple. It is what it is. And you could be doing everything right. And you could be the hottest of the hottest. But because people don't want to admit that they were wrong, like that's one of the most biggest things in people. They don't want to admit that who they thought you were and who they had you made up in their mind that you needed them on some type of level or you weren't going to be anything more than that. And then you prove it. They will still hate on you because they do not want to give in to the fact that you were already destined for greatness from the beginning, and they don't even see it in themselves. So what they lack in themselves, they envy in you because they see it in you, but they don't want you to do it, so they try to put all these worldly things on you so you don't see it yourself. So don't even worry about it, baby. Trust me.
I don't even listen to him. Man, I think it was 700 comments. I did not comment once, and all I did was read. You know, some people can't read. I like reading stuff like that because
me too.
they be like, dang. That's how they feel. And then you see the people that's on your, that's
your
talking
side.
good, and they like, man, y'all doing what he wanted y'all to do. And I'm laughing like, yeah, y'all didn't do it.
We got a vibe. That's what
Yeah.
y'all get. Keep talking about me. I always say any press is good press.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because you're going to talk about me to somebody else, but then someone else is going to turn around and look for you. And then when they go to look for you, they're going to be like, well, I don't think they may become my fan.
Yes.
Because you still my fan because you still watching.
Yes. I had people do that really was reaching out, because if you look at the comments, the majority was negative, but I had people reaching out to me saying, no, bro, you got it. Or people that actually heard my music and heard me, because that thing I put on there that was regular. That was
just
nothing.
regular.
I did it for that reason. The reason that everything happened, I did it for that reason. I said, yo, let me Kanye this thing before I drop this song called More.
Kanye,
and
people be sleeping.
man, listen, he upstairs. He knows something. That's what I'm saying. He might not know everything, but he knows something. And it worked. What I did worked. And the crazy thing is, they can never fathom the music that I make and the creativity that come with this. They talking about, a couple of them say, he just another Baltimore rapper. Oh man, they have no idea.
That just make me even more hungry.
I was laughing. I say, oh man, somebody sells some Elk Ridge. I just said there, they sell some Elk Ridge. I'm from Baltimore City, the real kind. I'm like,
thank you.
I'm like, dang. They like, man, I hope he can stand on that, yo, because he gonna be out. I'll be outside. I'm outside.
He outside.
I'm outside. So it's like, no, I'm not worried about none of that. But I did it for that reaction, and it worked. And I'm like, man, now they gonna really start seeing. So all that stuff they said, they gonna be like, dang, he's really great. He really does this.
They just going to stand on it. That's it, and that's all.
And they not. They gonna fold, because they gonna be the same
pressure.
people. Like,
come on now.
they gonna be like,
Pressure, but
I really didn't know he was like that. Sir, ma'am.
We in the same boat. I understand. Trust me.
Come on now.
Trust me. So I see that you, the last time I saw you, you had on black. Today you have on gray. And it looks really nice. Would you like to tell everyone about what you have on?
So
this is your brand, right?
Yeah, this is my brand, man.
Represent that brand.
This more than a brand. This is a mindset, right?
Woo!
Yeah, this is a mindset. So we on that thing first, man. Growing up, like I said, everything that I've been through led me to see that a lot of times I reacted first instead of thinking. And it led me in a lot of situations that I could have avoided if I'd have just thought about it. So I was like, man, you know what? I was just sitting there one day and I'm like, you know what? You got to think first, not last. You feel what I mean? You got to think first. You imagine if most of the people would have thought first, we wouldn't have so many people in prison. We wouldn't have so much abuse. We wouldn't have, Jesus, this bigger than me.
Yes, it is.
This is bigger than me. When I said, dang, and I thought about, I said, man, thank you, God. Because he really blessed me with this, to think and put this out there in the atmosphere, because it starts with the youth. I'm big on the youth, because as adults, we may be harder to tell something to.
That's true.
But when kids and you tell them, like, all right, maybe you should think about that before you did it. They'll listen.
They'll listen.
They'll listen, especially if it's a person like me. I talked about that as well, with my mother. My mother's a pastor. People are swaying away from religion, from what I see, right? More people are spiritual from what I see. And the reason being is, I feel it's a lot of contradictions and different things, and people don't feel like they can put their trust into religion at this time, right? People will listen to me, somebody that's not religious, but have been through a lot, and I'm telling you, man, look, you can do this. So when I'm doing music, the reason I'm doing music is not, I love music, but when I become successful, I'm going to be a motivational speaker, right? Because I love to tell people, my story. So when I'm successful, because right now I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that, so it's harder for them to listen, But once I have those things, it's like that, but that's life. So once I have all those things that they charge or they think is something, then I can come back and tell them, like, don't charge these things. They nothing. Ain't that crazy that you got to get the things they charge to tell them don't charge it?
I agree with you with that one, right? But this is where I'm going to also disagree with you, right? Because this is how we learn and we help each other.
Okay.
You can still be that motivational speaker without the money, without everything that's happening. I don't care if it's just one person. And I'm only saying that to you because I do it. Okay, young girl from Southwest Baltimore. Don't do it. I done published 2 books within a year where people told me that I couldn't. Came from an abusive child home and an abusive relationship, and even was the abuser at a time. Let me tell you, single mother of 4 kids, mother at 15. Let me tell you something. Been out there in the streets. Ain't never sold my ass, but I sold that dope. That's not go there. So you could be a motivational speaker.
Now, yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
You don't know how many people you going to touch just thinking first. Like you said, think first. I always tell people, if we take the emotion out of it, because now I'm more of a logical thinker than I am an emotional thinker, because I learned emotions do nothing for me in certain situations.
Okay,
right?
that's good.
Because I'm going to go off on you. It's going to be something else. But if I would have thought before I did certain things, like you said, think first, I would not have to dealt with some of those consequences that came behind me not thinking first.
I agree with what you're saying, right? And I know what you're saying. Let me break down what I'm saying,
Go
right?
ahead, break it down.
Because I do motivational speaking now, right? And I do touch people. That's what I do, especially with my music. But the masses.
Oh, we know that.
Come on now. When you want to get to the masses, because I want to get to the masses, and it goes just with the music. I'm going to bring it back around, just like with the music, how I look like this and I dress this way and I don't have the chains and all that. And some people hear my music, you have the, percentage, 10% that's going to get the music and feel it and be like, okay, I hear what he's saying. And then you got the other 90% that don't hear because I don't look that part or what they feel I should look. It's the same with the motivational speaking. Yes, I can touch a percentage of people that's going to listen to me, but because in their mind or their eyes, oh, I'm not this person. Oh, how can he tell me how to be successful in my life when he doesn't look successful from what they measure success at, right? So it's like, okay, because I know that, I'm willing to put the work in. Plus, I want to be successful, so it's not hard. So I'm going to put the work in. Once I'm successful to the measure that I measure it at, and I want to be, which is not money, it's more than money. But once I get to that level, right, then I can come. And then I can reach the masses. I can reach a lot more people than I was reaching now. Because best believe, I reach people now.
Of course.
I'm going to reach a lot of people with this right now, this interview. But I need more.
And you
that's
always
my song, More.
Yep, you always going to get more no matter what, right? Because you're going to go in different places and you're going to meet different things. And like I was saying, if it's just one person, it only take one person.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it goes to the next person and next person. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen as quickly as you want it to happen, but it will happen. And I just want you to keep sharing your story with people.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, anybody shunned upon or people try to say stuff or discredit you in any kind of way. You're hearing from a sister to a brother to let you know that thank you. I have to tell you thank you, because it took a lot for you to explain that you dealt with resentment. You felt like you was let down by your father and your mother. For you to not listen and start acting out. For you not thinking first. You were on drugs, numbing the pain. Even contemplated suicide. Just doing things that could have basically ended you with suicide. Being incarcerated for a little bit of time, but still coming out and dealing with things. And still pushing for your dream. No matter how old you are, no matter what was thrown upon you, you know your calling. So I want to say thank you to you. And I want you to keep it going.
You're welcome.
And keep this journey. And don't forget about us little people now when you get to the top.
I want to say one thing, right?
Sure.
I want to say this because I want to make sure I clarify this, right? As a child, I was going through all that. When I became a man and I look back at my father and mother, you have to understand that they were going through things.
That's a fact.
I want to say that. So, Mom,
Hi, Mom.
I realized my mother was going through traumas and struggles. My mother has a book coming out. It's going to be very, very good.
Oh,
so you want to
make
get
sure
to
you
that.
let me know.
But once I got older, because I did resent it when I was a child, but when I became a man, I said, she was going through her own problems. She was struggling. She was dealing with, she had 3 boys, trying to figure out how to raise them in the hood and how to get them out the hood, in which she did. I just went back into, she got us out the hood and moved in a good place. And, and I had to really see that. My father, regardless, I don't have all the information about him as I wish I did have more, but I even know he was going through something. He may have been battling with the fact that he was homosexual. I don't know. It could have been the drugs. I don't know. But regardless, he had something going on. So I don't fault either one.
And you shouldn't.
You know, I don't fault either one. My mother was mad too, because I said something about me once I left Catholic school and I went to public. That's when it was downhill, and she kind of got it. She was like, "Well, I want to tell you why I did that. You know, you was messing up, and I told, and the tuition was high. You know, and I told you if you kept messing up." And I said, "Well, Ma, no, I'm not. I wasn't saying it to say that was your fault. You know, I understand every move you made." And it was a reason for it and a reason behind it, because my mother's intelligent. So I know she didn't just do something just to do it. It was a reason. And if I wouldn't have went through all these things, regardless of the trauma, the resent, I would not be the person I am today.
That's
A
what I'm
blessing.
saying. We closing
A
on that
blessing.
one. We is closing on that one. Oh my goodness, because I say that all the time. I feel like I'm talking to myself.
Jesus.
But you hear
A
me?
blessing.
That is definitely a blessing. Once again, I want to say thank you. You have to
Yes.
stay in contact. Please stay in contact.
I
because
got you.
would love to keep watching this journey of yours
Mhm.
and see
Me
what
too.
else will happen. Yeah, just to see what else happened and grows from this, right? And also bring you back for a part 2.
Yes.
Because we can go deeper into other situations as far as more things in younger kids. To even have you come speak to some of the children, because that's so
Oh,
important.
man, that's what I'm about.
That is so
I would love to come and speak to the children. If you
Okay.
have anything
So stay in touch
dealing
with
with
me.
that, I want
I
to be
got
involved.
you. I
Yes.
definitely got you. So let me close this out. I want to let everyone know, if you heard his story, you hear the journey and the path that he's on and some of the major struggles and resentments. But what did he say through this whole interview? This man said once he stopped lying to himself, once he started realizing himself and the power that he has within himself to make it, then I want you to know, if he can do it, if I can do it, why can't you? And with that, that has been an episode of The Journey of a Soul Sister.
This is a Anything Goes podcast production.